At my sister's wedding, my mom stood up during the toasts and announced I'd be paying for the honeymoon. $25,000. She can afford it. I stood up and said, "Can I? Let me check my trust fund." I pulled out documents. The room went dead. My grandmother on my mom's side passed when I was 6. Before she died, she set up a trust fund in my name. $150,000. She did it because I was her first grandchild and because she knew my mother. She knew how my mother operated. That money was supposed to be mine at 25. My mom was the trustee. Growing up, I was told the trust was sacred. Don't touch it. Don't ask about it. It'll be there when you're ready. Every time I brought it up, Mom said the same thing. It's growing. Leave it alone. My sister Amber was the favorite. Always had been. She got dance lessons, summer camps, new clothes every fall, a car at 16, college paid in full. I got hand-me-downs from cousins, shared a room with Amber until I was 14, and took out student loans because there was nothing left for my tuition. When I asked why things were so uneven, Mom said Amber needed more support because she was sensitive. She went to homecoming in a $400 dress. I wore one from the clearance rack at a thrift store. I worked 2 jobs through college and graduated with $40,000 in debt. Amber graduated with a ring on her finger and 0 balance. When I turned 25, I contacted the bank that held the trust. They told me the account had been closed 3 years earlier. The balance at closure was $152,000. All of it had been withdrawn by the trustee, my mother. I called her that night. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "I used it for the family." What family expenses cost $152,000? Your father's truck, Amber's wedding fund, the kitchen renovation, some credit cards. You spent my inheritance on Amber's wedding and a kitchen? It was for all of us. I didn't get any of it. Not a dollar, not for school, not for rent, not for anything. She said I was making her feel guilty. I said she should feel guilty. She hung up. I didn't tell anyone. I contacted a lawyer. He reviewed the trust documents and said I had a strong case. My grandmother's instructions were clear. The money was for my education and future, managed in my interest only. Withdrawals for other family members were a direct violation. He said this was textbook breach of fiduciary duty. We started building the case quietly. I gathered every document, every bank statement, every record of withdrawal. I didn't file right away. I wanted to wait for the right moment, not for revenge, for leverage, because I knew my mother would lie about it unless I could prove everything in front of people who mattered to her. Then Amber got engaged. Big ring, big plans. Mom threw herself into planning. She called me once to say Amber wanted a destination honeymoon. 2 weeks in Bali, cost $25,000. She said it like I should be impressed. I said nothing. The wedding was in May, 200 guests, country club venue, open bar, fresh flowers everywhere. I knew exactly who paid for most of it. I showed up in a nice dress, sat at my assigned table in the back corner near the kitchen, and waited. During the toasts, Mom took the microphone. She talked about how proud she was of Amber. She talked about the family coming together. Then she looked at me. And I want to give a special thank you in advance to my daughter, who has generously offered to pay for Amber and Tyler's honeymoon, $25,000. She can afford it. She winked at me. The room clapped. Amber blew me a kiss from the head table. Tyler raised his glass. Everyone looked at me like I was the generous little sister. I never agreed to this. Not once. She made it up on the spot, in front of 200 people, assuming I'd be too embarrassed to say no. She assumed wrong. I stood up. The clapping stopped. "Can I afford it? Let me check my trust fund." I pulled a folder from my bag. I'd brought it just in case. Inside were copies of the trust documents, the bank closure notice, and the withdrawal records showing every dollar my mother took. "Oh, wait," I said. "I can't check it, because 3 years ago, Mom emptied my $150,000 trust fund that Grandma left for me. She used it to pay for Dad's truck, a kitchen remodel, credit card debt, and Amber's wedding fund. This wedding, the flowers, the venue, the open bar, my inheritance paid for all of it." The room went completely still. Amber's mouth opened. Tyler put his hand on her arm. Dad stared at his plate. Mom set the microphone down slowly. "She spent my entire inheritance without telling me, and she just volunteered me to pay $25,000 for a honeymoon I didn't agree to. So no, Mom, I can't afford it. You made sure of that." I set the folder on the table and walked out. I didn't run. I didn't cry. I walked past every table, past every person who watched my mother steal my future and clap about it, and I pushed through the front doors. Amber texted later, "You ruined my wedding." I wrote back, "Mom ruined my future. I just told people about it."